Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Ange Kirchhoff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I wanted to talk about the Monday night matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New Orleans Saints. Now, in specific, I wanted to talk about Josh Jacobs facing up against that run-stopping defense of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, many of you tonight, including myself, are going to have to rely upon Josh Jacobs to win you the Monday night matchup and win you week 2 of your 2020 fantasy football season based on his singular performance. Now, the question on hand is, what is he truly capable of, and what can we expect from this offense against one of the best run-stopping defenses in the National Football League? In fact, just last season, the New Orleans Saints give up the 5th fewest fantasy points to opposing running backs in a half PPR scoring format, and this season, again, they're giving up the 5th fewest with their performance last week in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So on today's episode, I wanted to go ahead and do something different. I want to talk about the potential of Josh Jacobs, but not just talk about it, but show you the potential. Show you some film from last week against the Carolina Panthers, what the Las Vegas Raiders were scheming and putting together in order to succeed last week. Again, a lot of the statistics that Josh Jacobs put up last week were career highs. And that in itself kind of leads me in this direction of, okay, I want to go ahead and see just how effective he was and why they were that effective against the Carolina run-stopping defense. Though Carolina has not been one of the better teams defensively over the last couple of years, especially in stopping the run, there are going to be keys in the film to kind of give us a little bit of perspective on what we can expect later tonight. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and do, a little bit something different. We never do stuff like this here on the channel, but hopefully you guys are here to stay, watch it, and enjoy the potential of it. I know many of you guys are playing Josh Jacobs later tonight, so hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea that while you're watching the game, you can kind of have some recollection of what we talk about today, the formations that they're using, and what we can expect Josh Jacobs to do in this offense tonight against the New Orleans Saints defense. So without further ado, I can't thank you guys enough for your incredible support. We just recently passed 25,000 subscribers. Hopefully content like this kind of excites you guys like it does me. I mean, I spent the entire weekend breaking down film. This is the first time I'm doing something like this, so hopefully you enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into the content, shall we? Here we go. Like I mentioned earlier, Josh Jacobs set a lot of career highs in week 1 of the 2020 fantasy football season. Starting off with 3 rushing touchdowns, he led all running backs last week with rushing touchdowns and set his own career high. On top of it, he had 10 forced missed tackles, which led all running backs in the National Football League, according to Pro Football Focus. On top of that, he had 81 yards after contact, which is second amongst all running backs in week 1 of the 2020 season. As you can see on screen, he's running through defenders and earning yards on a downly basis. On top of that, the work in the passing game is really what's going to separate Josh Jacobs later this season. The fact that he had career highs in targets, receptions, and receiving yards just this past week, and the fact that the entire offseason he talked about potentially getting 60 receptions is going to continue to lead to his upcoming fantasy success and relevance in a PPR format. Now, before we start familiarizing ourselves with offensive formations and blocking schemes, I wanted to familiarize everyone with the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line. Again, this is one of the highest paid offensive lines and one of the most talented offensive lines, whether it's run blocking or pass blocking. So familiarizing ourselves with them from left tackle to right tackle is important. Starting off with Colton Miller as the left tackle, Richie Incognito as the left guard, Rodney Hudson as our all-pro center, Gabe Jackson as right guard, and Trent Brown as the right tackle. But these aren't the only blockers in this offense that are going to make a difference on Monday Night Football. We have Jason Witten, who they just brought in this offseason, Darren Waller, and Alec Ingold, the fullback. Now, as we know, Darren Waller's probably going to be on the field almost every single play because of how valuable he is, whether it's in the blocking scheme and or in the passing game. But they love to use a lot of 12 personnel in which they use Jason Witten and Darren Waller on the same side of the formation. As you can see on screen as of right now, we have 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers on the very left. Now, this formation is probably going to be seen a lot. This is one of the formations they love to use the most and something that caught my eye when watching film. Now, the whole thing about this blocking scheme is that it begins with a motion from Henry Ruggs. This motion is going to force the linebackers to bounce and kind of respect the fact that they could hand the ball off to Henry Ruggs and keep them square in that direction. But the thing is, they're going to be running a zone blocking scheme in which they're zoning right and leaving the backside defensive end naked and unblocked, and it's going to be up to Josh Jacobs to either make the decision to follow his offensive line or beat that guy for a potential cutback, because there is going to be a lot of open field, and depending on his decision making as a defensive end, it is going to dictate where Josh Jacobs goes. Again, of course, the blocking up front has to be exceptional in order to give him that option, but as we'll see on screen, Josh Jacobs going into this play is probably going to be able to make some success out of it. The motion comes through, Josh Jacobs puts his leg in the ground, gets upfield for pretty good yardage. Now, when we watch that again, let's understand exactly what came through Josh Jacobs' mind to make that decision. He's handed the ball, the backside defensive end, instead of coming straight down the line of scrimmage, has come into the backfield. That in itself has given Josh Jacobs the opportunity to either cut it back to the very left and see that all of his offensive linemen and blockers are 2-on-2. The left side in the yellow box, 2-on-2. 2-on-2 in the middle, 2-on-2 on the right side. But with his vision, his ability to understand blocking schemes, he's going to already begin to predict that the right side of this play is beginning to leak. And as this play resumes, you'll see the leakage come through, and you'll see why Josh Jacobs chose to go back inside, especially because, again, that backside defensive end did not come straight down the line of scrimmage and giving him an opportunity to cut back and make a play there. Now, we go ahead and we move on, and it's a almost identical formation, but this time around, they're going to make defenders stay square. You have to be able to respect the motion here, and this time around, instead of linebackers bouncing and going with the motion of Henry Ruggs, they don't respect it, and it allows the Las Vegas Raiders to hand this ball off to Henry Ruggs and get him a free 7 yards, because again, some of the linebackers are thinking about bouncing, but they don't do it quick enough. 52 is late to the play, and boom, you have a free play there, always based on that motion. Now, we go into another 12 personnel scheme in which we have 2 tight ends on the right side of the screen, both of them on the same side as they usually are. Now, this time around, we have Jason Witten in the backfield, but the thing I wanted to go ahead and pay attention to is the red box on the left. The splits between the left tackle and the left guard are literally 3 feet wide, and that already kind of gives us the indication that that's where they want to run the ball. So the biggest thing is, can the defenders get distracted enough by that motion coming from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen? Can Colton Miller be able to take that defensive lineman, force him to the inside, and wash him down as in a counter scheme, which they're going to run counter left. They're going to pull the right guard, they're going to pull Jason Witten, and they're going to wash everyone down and allow this offense to pretty much just continue through by forcing everyone to think the ball is going right and then coming back left on them. Now, the next offensive formation we wanted to go ahead and highlight was this bunch set. Now, they're going to run this bunch set a lot, whether it's tighter to the offensive line or more outside. As of right now, as you can see on screen, we have 2 safeties up top, but look at the box. We only have 5 defenders in the box, and we have 5 offensive linemen. That in itself is already an advantage for the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is going to be an automatic check to running the ball. Now, what we're going to see from the offensive line is a couple scoop blocks in which the center and the offensive guard on the right side are going to be able to scoop block this 3-shade defensive tackle and get to the second level and block the middle linebacker. What we'll see is a wide receiver off the screen come block this safety who should already be in the box. Again, they need to have another defender in the box here in order to stop the run. But again, the bunch set on the very left allows this confusion from the Carolina Panthers because they need to respect the coverage on that side and continue to play them square, which allows Josh Jacobs here to have himself a pretty open play in which he finds himself open yardage, great blocking up front, and there we go. Free yardage for him going forward. Now, once again, we're going to see this bunch formation a little bit tighter to the offensive line. Now, why is it a little bit tighter to the offensive line? Because this is going to be a crack block from the bunch wide receivers, where we'll see one of the wide receivers fill on the backside defensive end. We'll have offensive linemen pull, get to the second level, and be able to allow running backs in the open field to make plays. Again, free yardage off the bunch set. Bunch set again. But this time around, they're going to allow a little bit of RPO action here. Force a little bit of the defense to expect them to run the ball. But again, feed the ball to Hunter Renfrow. Again, with the bunch set. But again, they're going to hit them with a play action. If you don't play this defense square, they're going to continue to gash you with these play action plays. Once again, you have the bunch formation a little bit tighter to the offensive line. But this time they add the motion. And where does that lead them to? Defenders being confused, hitting them with a flea flicker, and allowing them to just get some yards, but unfortunately an incomplete pass. But the thought is what counts. The next formation on hand is 21 personnel, 2 running backs and 1 tight end. And as you can see, Henry Ruggs is in the backfield. Now, what we'll see from the blocking scheme is a triple option set. We're going to be pulling the center. We're going to be pulling the right tackle. Everybody's going to be down blocking or scoop blocking in order to make sure that this defensive line is not able to flow with that. And they're going to be optioning whether they hand off the ball to Josh Jacobs, and it's going to be based typically on the backside defensive end. If that backside defensive end on Colton Miller is to run straight down the line of scrimmage, Derek Carr is going to keep this ball. And that's what we're going to see on screen. Derek Carr will keep the ball, and they have another threat in the backfield to be able to give the ball to. So he keeps, and then he goes ahead and throws it to Henry Ruggs, gets some free yardage, because again, defenders are always assuming this team is running the ball. Once again, we'll see a similar formation, but this time around, they're going to motion Henry Ruggs into the backfield. It's already forcing number 54, the linebacker, to run in the direction because they know here comes Mr. Henry Ruggs motioning full free. What that allows is the offensive line to pull two offensive linemen, the center and the guard, get to the second level. And again, as you can see on screen, in the box, if 54 is going out, there's only 5 defenders there against 6 potential Las Vegas Raider blockers. What that ends up doing is allows offensive linemen to get to the second level, and away we go with the Las Vegas Raiders running attack. Again, we're going to get yards after contact. If offensive linemen have a full head of steam, they're going to plow defenders. Once again, we see this 21 personnel, but this time around, instead of optioning, they're going to go ahead and hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs. We're going to see a George block in which we'll have Darren Waller block down on the defensive end. We'll pull the right tackle to get to the outside linebacker, and we'll have offensive linemen either scoop blocking or trying to get to the second level and allow Josh Jacobs to get into this open field. Now, again, unfortunately, this time around, there's not going to be much success on the play because there's going to be a missed block, but they continue to have to force defenders to either stack the box or jump in here to be able to make plays while having the extra threat of Henry Ruggs in the passing game. The next formation I wanted to share was his double tight end set. Now, in the gun, what we're going to see is down on the goal line in the red zone, we have ourselves 7 defenders in the box because number 31, the safety, he's going to leave the box and he's going to move into coverage because they're running 2 safeties. Once again, that is going to hurt the Carolina Panthers as they only have 7 defenders in the box against 7 potential blockers. Where does that leave Josh Jacobs? Well, if it's 7 on 7 and everybody does their job properly, Josh Jacobs will be good to go. Again, the center, the left guard, they're going to double to the onside middle linebacker. Colton Miller will leave Darren Waller there, but again, chip block to get to this backside left outside linebacker. And away we go, Josh Jacobs scoring himself a touchdown here. Again, Derek Carr can already see it. He motions him there, and they run themselves right into the end zone with nobody in sight to stop them because number 31 leaves the box. Once again, we have double tight ends out of gun, but this time around, we only have 6 defenders in the box. It wasn't as harsh as last time. 7 on 7 was a pretty good opportunity for them, but this time around, the Carolina Panthers defense is outmanned once again. And what we're going to go ahead and see is once again, this Las Vegas Raiders offensive blocking dominate up front and create more yardage for Josh Jacobs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's content. Again, this is something very new. I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an extra perspective of what the Las Vegas Raiders want to key in on and what kind of offensive formations and schemes they're trying to present to defenses to keep them playing it square. Again, like I mentioned, when you have the motion and you have as many threats in the backfield, when you're bringing in Henry Ruggs as another running back, when you bring in the option of RPO or triple option or even the ability to just hand off a jet sweep, you're going to force defenders to have to play it square. And when you do that, you're going to have advantages in the box. And what we saw against the Carolina Panthers, there were a lot of opportunities for this Las Vegas Raiders offensive line and tight ends to get to the second level, to get onto linebackers at the point of attack, dominate them there, and allow Josh Jacobs and even Devontae Booker to succeed last week. Now, yes, the yard per carry average for the Las Vegas Raiders wasn't impeccable. 25 carries for Josh Jacobs was great. That kind of opportunity, that kind of stability there, that's fantastic. But his yard per carry average was incredible. What we saw yesterday from the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers were averaging 6.6 yards per carry on rushing attempts, while last week, the Las Vegas Raiders were only averaging 4.2 yards per carry on their rushing attempts. Now, hopefully this upcoming week, tonight on Monday Night Football, we'll see a little bit more of these double tight end sets, 21 personnel with both Jason Witten and Darren Waller on the same side, being able to match up, get onto linebackers, allow these offensive linemen with a crackdown block to pull, get out into the open field and make plays on cornerbacks and safeties in order to allow Josh Jacobs some pretty big plays. Again, this is a guy that, as of right now, is one of the best running backs in the National Football League. Again, the stats that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the fact that he set career highs in the passing game while also being able to run the ball as much as he did against that Carolina Panthers defense is promising because, again, if in fact the running game is to stall out, You get him in the passing game. You allow this offense that is so highly predicated on running the ball to be able to advance via play action. Again, that RPO, the extra options, it's going to add more threats and add more responsibilities for defenders. And in my opinion, hopefully will lead to the success of the Las Vegas Raiders later tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure you smash the like button down below. If you have not yet already, subscribe to the channel. We'll be making fantasy football content here on the daily for the entirety of the 2020 season. This is a little bit of different content. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know down below if you guys like this kind of content. Potentially we could be doing this more in the future. This took a lot of effort to break down the film, get all the graphics together, all the editing. So hopefully this is something you guys enjoy. If you do enjoy it, make sure, again, you smash that like button. Let me know down below in the comment section. And until later today, which we'll be talking about waiver wire pickups for week 3 of the 2020 fantasy football season. I appreciate you guys. Let's see Josh Jacobs dominate tonight. Hopefully this offensive line, these tight ends, they're going to be able to dominate up front and dictate the game at home against a very strong New Orleans Saints defense. But again, should be a fun game to watch, and hopefully you'll be watching it. I appreciate you guys, and until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.